And of course, this round we have the Pride game at the start of the round. We also have the MND match at the end of the round. But we'll start with the first match, Sydney versus St Kilda at the SCG. This is a big game for both clubs. If Sydney want to somehow make the finals from here, they have to win this game. And if St Kilda want to stay in the 8, they have to win this game as well.
Yeah.
I am going to tip Sydney because it looks like Sydney are going to get a lot of players back this week. Dane Rampy looks like he's back. Joel and Marty, which I think is a hugely underrated choice getting in this week. We've seen how good a form he was in before he got injured. I'm going to pick Sydney in this one, but I think it will be close.
Yeah, I think it will be a close game. I'm going Sydney as well. I'm going Sydney for maybe a different reason. It's Buddy's 350th. But also, Sydney against St Kilda at the SCG, they've won the last 5. So I'm going on record, off the record. So, on the recent record at the SCG for the Swans. So
yeah, I just think with Sydney's Dane Rampy, if he's back, I think it's a big
I think
conclusion
because he'll go
one of them will go to Ben King. I think that Melican also coming in the week before the bye was huge for Sydney, having that extra key defender, and he's always been that. Like last year, he would have been in the team if it wasn't for obviously Paddy McCartan, Tom McCartan, and Dane Rampy playing so well. So yeah, I think he's a very good defender. Melican, he does make a couple of mistakes, but yeah, I think he's very underrated. But nonetheless, next game we get to the Bulldogs versus Port Adelaide. This one's a huge game for the Bulldogs and Port Adelaide as well, but it's another big game for both clubs. The Bulldogs need to win this game. I mean, they do. I mean, it's at Marvel Stadium. It's at home. They need to take a scalp because they haven't, have they? I don't think they can.
Not recently.
Not recently.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they beat the Brisbane Lions like in round 3.
Yeah, so.
I think that's their biggest scalp of the year. They haven't taken a big scalp all year. This is a time to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm tipping Port.
Yeah. Well, I'm going Port because, we're playing at Marvel. It's our favourite ground.
Yeah, well, you've got a very good record.
We're the best team out of anyone at Marvel, so...
Yeah, I give Port Adelaide a real chance.
Also, Dixon and Boak are only... they need to get through Wednesday training, so if they get through that, they should be playing. And, and Fantasia played Sandford with Jonas, so that's going to be interesting if... They'll probably give Fantasia another run. Jonas, it'll be interesting if we go back to the captain.
Well, does Fantasia even come back in if he's...
I don't think he does at the moment. I think
Willie McEntee's playing a role.
Yeah, and Junior Riola played pretty well as well. So I don't think you want to flirt with changing a lot of it, but if Dixon and Boak are fit, they'll come in, and Lord will probably get dropped, sadly. But
I mean, it's just proved as well, though, for Port Adelaide that they do have a young forward line growing up. I mean, Jeremy Finlayson's still got a few more years left in him. But when Charlie Dixon goes, it's not all doom and gloom. They've got Todd Marshall, they've got Jeremy Finlayson, and they've got Ollie Lord coming through. As long as Mitch Georgiades, I think he'll stay. But even if he doesn't, even if he doesn't.
Let's be honest, he's not going to go to West. If West Coast want to throw the bank at him, he might go. But that's the only way I think he goes, really.
Yeah. Next up, we get to Hawthorn versus Brisbane. If this was at the Gabba, this would be a flogging.
Yeah.
But they will get James Sicily back this week. This is at the MCG, not a very pretty hunting ground for the Brisbane Lions. But nonetheless, I am going to tip them, and I am going to put my certainty pick on it for this week. I completely forgot that the Crows lost. I would have done that, but I already picked the Brisbane Lions. I'm not going to change it. I was first this week, and I'm pretty confident that Brisbane will go and win this game. They need to bounce back from that loss against the Crows. They weren't good.
No. But, interesting. But normally this game, when Hawthorn are the home team, they play at Tasmania. I don't think in the last, at least 7 years, they played at the MCG, these two. So it's going to be interesting. I've went Brisbane because, they've got one of the best forward lines in the comp at the moment. I don't think James Sicily bringing it back will make a difference. It make a huge difference to the game, and
I don't think they'll get flogged as much as they against Port Adelaide.
They always seem to be competitive when Sicily plays. A bit more competitive than what they were.
I mean, other than the Sydney game this year, they've been pretty good for most of the games this year. So I'm going to be picking and Port Adelaide, but I mean when James Sicily's been in. So I'm going to be picking Brisbane. I'm 99% confident they'll win this game, unless Hawthorn can somehow pull out another victory. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a step above beating St Kilda.
Yeah.
After that, we get to the Adelaide versus the West Coast Eagles, Adelaide Oval. We don't have to spend much time on this. Your certainty pick is on the Crows.
Yeah, my certainty's on the Crows. They'll win they'll win, and they'll win by 100 because they always seem to play well in Adelaide, and the home crowd will get up for it. So they'll win by 100 easily.
Yeah, this has got 100 points written all over it, this game. After that, we get to Saturday night, Fremantle versus Richmond. This is a big game for Freo. They've been in very good form. They've been able to beat the 2 grand finalists in the last 2 weeks and one of the premiership favourites in Melbourne. Coming off the bye. We'll see how they go.
Yeah.
I think they're okay off the bye. I don't think they've been that issued. Being at home as well, I think will be good for them. But Richmond are running in with a bit of form. They nearly beat Port Adelaide and they beat the Giants. So you give Richmond a bit of a chance, but I have tipped Fremantle in this one. At home, they should be able to win this one.
Yeah, I've went Freo. I think it's going to be interesting. You always find it a bit interesting when a team's off the bye and a team that hasn't played the bye yet. It's always interesting to see which one recovers better. I think Freo at home, they seem to be in good form. But whatever happened early in the year doesn't matter. So
I don't know what the hell happened to Fremantle because suddenly they've just done a 180 in the space of 2 weeks between the Bulldogs game and the Swans game.
Yeah,
I mean the Brisbane game they just changed up their style. They wanted to move the ball quicker, and they were like, then suddenly they all just got on board.
Yeah, it seemed to click, and it just seems to be working. So yeah, Freo win.
Sunday afternoon, the mid game. Well, there's no early game this one. North Melbourne versus GWS down in Tasmania. So I give North a bit of a chance here, but I do think, because it is down in Tassie, I think if this is in Melbourne, Giants win this all day. If this is in Sydney, Giants win this all day. But for some reason, both North Melbourne and the Hawthorn play better down in Tassie than they do at home. I mean, I guess that, they know the conditions a bit better because they play a couple of extra games there a year. Maybe that's like the Gold Coast playing up in the Northern Territory. But I do give the Giants the win here. I think they should win this one. They want to bounce back from last week.
Yeah.
I do think that GWS are being slept on a bit this year. They are 15th on the ladder. But they've taken a couple of scalps like Geelong and Sydney. But they are also playing pretty good football. There's still the issue of them playing a little bit too pretty sometimes. They've got to stop. They've got to start putting pressure on players, tackle pressure. And I do think that Adam Kingsley's the man for that. And they should win this one. But North Melbourne have been competitive in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think Giants win. I think if you watch the Richmond game, you saw how much Adam Kingsley didn't like a few of the things that they were doing. Like the efforts and contested possessions and all that kind of stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he might need a few more, maybe another 12 months to get that completely right, but I think he's going to get to the players this week and pretty much
rev them up,
and
give them this win.
Yeah.
After that, we get to a Sunday night game now because we obviously have
the King's birthday
King's birthday eve. Is this going to be like a
they want that? Both Essendon and Carlton want this to be a regular thing.
So kind of like Melbourne and Richmond before Anzac Day.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess it's King's birthday eve game between Carlton and Essendon. I can see what your phone just said, and I can't believe you've done this. I'm tipping Essendon in this one. I know that maybe Essendon have maybe not been playing the best in the past few weeks. Yes, they beat West Coast, but only beat by 50 points, which is only by 50. And they only just beat North Melbourne. But I feel like they get up for the big games. They could have won on Anzac Day if they played a little bit better in the last quarter. They obviously dropped that game. I give them a real chance here. I give them a real chance to really set a point to the competition. And if they have West Coast and North Melbourne again for the rest of the season. They just need to take a couple of scalps against not even scalps. I mean, Carlton isn't a scalp. But they need to take a couple of these wins home. They should be winning this game, Essendon, and I'm going to give it to them.
Yeah, I'm not. I've got Carlton. I don't know. They're in horrible form.
Essendon?
No, Carlton. Oh. That's why I went Carlton. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
so they're going horrible. You're not explaining why you picking
because
Carlton?
they have a good recent record. I just think with, I think Mackay, he had he got back into form. Let's be honest, he not like huge great form, but he got some more time with the ball. I think they're going to win. I don't know really why, but I think that they've got good recent form against the Bombers.
Yeah, because the Bombers have been shit.
Yeah, but so have Carlton. They've been shit for 20 years. But Carlton, I don't know why. I want to see if... I don't know. I really don't know. I think they can get the ball in. We've seen that last month of football. They can get it in there. I just got a good feeling that they're going to turn it around this week and they're going to win this.
I think we've been waiting for Carlton to turn it around for the last month.
I think it's more like 20 years, but you know.
Well, yeah, 20 years, but at least the last month. I give Essendon this win. But Carlton may well.
And I think also, yes, they beat North Melbourne, And yes, I know you can't really. But they only won by 6 points. They really should have won by more.
I do agree with that.
Like, let's be honest. If they don't have Zach Merritt in that game, they win? Like, that first quarter, they dominated, and they still only won by 6 points.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know. I think Carlton. They're better than North Melbourne, and I think that Carlton can win this game.
Alright. Well, the last game we get to the traditional Queen's birthday game. Well, King's birthday now, sorry. And the Big Freeze. Melbourne versus Collingwood. This is probably the biggest in the 9-year history of the Big Freeze, really. I mean, both these teams have not been this high up. I guess last year Collingwood were pretty high up as well, but both these teams are right up there, third and first. Now, if Melbourne were in better form, I'd give them a real chance here to knock off Collingwood, but Collingwood are playing too good. They're too good. I think they're going to win this game. I think Melbourne can't score well enough. Collingwood's defence is already good as it is. Melbourne are going to have to play this game almost Russian roulette. Almost, they're going to have to go. They're going to have to move this ball really fast. We saw Brisbane were able to do it when they beat them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way to beat them. And I guess that you have to play that sort of way to beat a team like Collingwood, but they have to do it, and I don't think they can. I don't think they have the firepower up forward to do so. They do look like they're going to get Clayton Oliver back, so that should help them quite a bit, but I just give Collingwood the win here.
Yeah, I think Collingwood... If they don't have Oliver, there's no chance for Melbourne. But if... Melbourne can get back into form, but they've only won once in the past 8 attempts against Collingwood. So, recent history doesn't say they're going to win, and the way Collingwood are playing at the moment, you pretty much... Yeah, it seems very hard for them. And I don't think... Yeah, Jacob Van Rooyen's played really well this season, but you can't rely on it every week.
Is he going to beat Darcy Moore? That's the thing.
Yeah, you think he's going to beat Darcy Moore? I doubt it. Like, he's going
to have to play a career best game.
And like Maynard or Quain or someone will go to Ballyfritch. They're playing in pretty good form, underrated at the moment. So
yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I just can't see it. With the fact is that their forward line is not striking at the moment, Melbourne. Yeah. So I think Collingwood will win. I think it'll be a classic King's birthday, but it'll be interesting.